Rock Reef Point about to become the #1 tourist spot in the area, I think it's up to the residents of Possum Lake to make those tourists feel at home by taking as much of their money as possible. And the best way to do that is by selling them overpriced food. So today on the Handyman Corner, I'm going to show you how you can make a portable snack counter. You know, today's urbanite, everything is go, go, go. So you want to sell them anything, you got to be on the go yourself. That's the beauty of this unit right here. All you need is a piece of kitchen countertop and a couple of old seat belts that were just wearing a hole in the back of your pants anyhow. And you're all set. You just pick her up and you can follow your tourists down the street or even into the woods, preparing food as they check out the various sites. Next up, pick up yourself up a bunch of these small appliances, which you can get at a yard sale or whatever. You might get an old toaster or one of these hot air popcorn popper units or a camp stove, or, you know, you get the idea of it. Now, if you need electricity for some of these, because they're electrical appliances and they use that type of thing, what you want to do is get yourself a shopping cart. Now, a lot of the seniors use these, so they're easy to borrow or whatever. And what you want to do is open that up and fill that up with some of the car batteries. And then you want to cut the handle here right in half so she'll thread through your belt loops. Makes it easier for towing. Now, to connect all the appliances onto the counter, we could drill holes and bolt them in there, or we could glue it on some sort of polymer adhesive there, but that would probably ruin the marble laminate bake stuff. So instead, we're going to use the handyman secret weapon, duct tape. Now, she's starting to take shape, isn't she? Got everything laid out here just the way I want it. Got the popcorn maker there at the end, I got the toaster next to that, and they're both sitting on top of my microwave oven there. That's all plugged into the batteries, of course, and I got the camp barbecue, kind of a neat little thing. Briquettes are a little scary. And over on this side, I got the deep fryer, and I got the crepe maker, I got the donuts there, I got the drinks, and I got a little hot plate over here, and I got a little hot chocolate cappuccino or something. And this here, the tap holes, something I done real neat here, ideal for the condiments. I just reach down underneath, give it some squeeze, got myself some ketchup, and I add a little mustard to that. No problem. Let's fire her up. Now, maybe fire is a bad word. Well, there, I got her working now, and I can follow those tourists anywhere they want to go, making food for them. Even if they're not on the go, they certainly will be back to eat this stuff. So if women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Here's cooking at you, kid. My grandfather had one of these babies. It's called a push mower. He used to cut the grass every Saturday. He'd usually wait till the afternoon when his head had stopped pounding, his vision had cleared up a little bit. You know, men can be very competitive about their lawns. And I'm sure you wouldn't mind having the nicest lawn on the street, but if you're a handyman like me, you don't want to push more. You want to push less. So to do that, you're going to need a few things. First of all, 3 or 4 of these units, because more is not less. More is definitely more. And along with that, you need a couple of salt shakers, a toy gun, some liquid fertilizer, some grass seed, some wildflower seed, a little bit of weed killer, and of course, a few hockey sticks. And naturally, you're going to need a K-car, which these days are pretty much restricted to yard work anyway. Okay, that takes care of the grass cutting, but we haven't begun to scratch the surface in terms of what we can do to this lawn. You know what's real good? Aerating. Oh, yeah. Of course, the secret here is not to let the screw go too far into the... See, I got distracted there, but it's okay because I always have a can of this tire sealant right nearby. Perfect. I made a few other alterations that I feel awful good about. Filled the trunk with grass seed. That'll just drop naturally through the trunk floor through what I call the miracle of rust. Well, here's a nice touch. You know, everybody likes wildflowers kind of spread randomly through the yard. So I filled these salt shakers with wildflower seeds. Safest way I know to sow your wild oats. Okay, here's a fun thing now. I filled the windshield washer reservoir with weed killer. Then I ran the hose up through this toy gun, see? So now when I'm driving along, cutting the lawn, and I see a weed like that dandelion over there, I just aim the gun, line her up with my radio antenna control, and then hit the windshield washer button. The only tricky part was trying to figure out how to spread the fertilizer. Something I don't usually have a problem with. And then I'm thinking, hey, wait a sec, you know, they make gasoline so good now that you can afford to dilute it a little bit. So I figure, heck, you know, I'll just fire this right in here, let the engine do the work. I even added a nozzle to my tailpipe to kind of give me a little more coverage. The fertilizer won't burn, and the gas just becomes a propellant. Kind of like what kidney beans do for chili. So remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have work to do. All the while listening to my favorite song, The Green, Green Grass of Home. Spot is a fine art, isn't it? Oh, I know they teach fine art in university, but this is the kind you can actually use. Now, the main item you're looking for here is shade. It's important to keep your car as cool as possible, especially if you have vinyl seats. Even more so if you have black vinyl seats and you're wearing a bathing suit, because skin grafts can be very expensive. But you know, you can't always find a spot under a tree. So today I'm going to show you how to protect your vehicle with something I like to call portable shade. Okay, I want to start with a couple of these retractable tape measures. Oh, I know what you're thinking. Hey, if this involves accurate measurement, count me out. Accurate measurement. I'm going to have to remember that one. No. We're actually going to use these as simple mounting units. What you want to do is to mount your tape measures onto your vehicle just above and in front of the hood. And you can use whatever fastening device best suits the look and style of your car. Okay, now I've attached a couple of old drapery rods to the top of the tape measures. I like using them because they're flexible, but they're stiff enough to stay an inch or so above the body of the car. See, that allows for airflow. When you get to my age, airflow is crucial. By the way, don't let your wife catch you doing this with her brand new drapery rods, or it'll be curtains for you. Huh? Okay, now we attach the other end of the drapery rods to this luggage rack. If you don't have a luggage rack, you can take one off of any British car. They use them to carry bicycles around because their cars are so useless. You really got to have a backup plan. Okay, now all we need is our shade. Now you could go with cloth drapes or sheet metal or one of Moose Thompson's nightshirts, but I prefer to use something waterproof and less expensive. That's right, shower curtains. I had to trim these babies off a little bit because they were too long for the width of the car. And I added ring holes to the bottom edge there so that both sides of the curtain would be drawn up evenly over the car. I guess you could call this vehicle Ford of the Rings. Okay, now to automate the unit, well, that's where my tape measures come back into play. I pull out the tape on both sides, then attach the ends of the tapes to the front edge of my curtain. And all I gotta do is lock the recoil switch on each of them, and we're ready for a road test. Who cares about the sun? Because now when I park and pull on the hood release, I got it made in the shade. So remember, the women don't find you handsome. They should at least find you Oh yeah, one more thing. If you want to protect your doors as well, go back to the tub, get the bath mat out of there. Not only great protection from the sun, but also from those idiots who ding you when they park too close. Parking lots can be frustrating, can't they? You either can't find a spot at all, or then you do get one, by the time you get back to your car, somebody has boxed you in, eh? Maybe the guy whose spot you took, or maybe the parking lot owner getting back at you for not paying last time. Well, today, I'm going to show you a fast, cheap, unembarrassing way to get into or out of a tight parking spot. First thing you need, your spare. Now, your spare might be flat. It doesn't matter, it'll work just as good. And then you need a jack, but you don't want this kind of jack. You want the hydraulic type. They have a little more lifting power. Because we're not just going to be lifting one end of the vehicle. But hey, I'm getting way ahead of myself. All right, I got 2 jacks. That means I can open. Next thing you want to do is horse the back seat out of there. All right, hit it. Now, you may notice with that particular method of removing the seat, there is a certain amount of damage to the floor area, but that gaping hole in there is going to come in real handy later. But I'm getting way ahead of myself. Okay, first thing we got to do now is mount the jack to the inside of the roof. And for that, I'm going to use the heavy-duty self-tapping machine screws rather than duct tape. Although you could put duct tape on the screws later, you know, for appearances. All right, now I want to hang the spare tire under the jack, but right at floor level there. And then I'll be all... I guess those machine screws are a little bit long. Okay, I need something to fill the gap between the jack and where the spare tire's going to be. I could use, I guess, a 4x4 on that, but I want something a lot stronger that won't twist and warp. So I'm going to use this old car drive shaft here. I've already measured the length, and I'll just cut her to size. Okay, I decided to go with the 4x4 after all on that. But she's all assembled. We got the jack hanging from the roof, and we got the spare hanging from the jack, and the whole unit is positioned over our big hole in the floor. So now, whenever we want to get into or out of a real tight parking spot, all we do is jack down the spare, which will jack up the car, and we spin her around till she's facing the right way. Then we jack up the spare, which will jack down the car, and we're out of there. Funny how life solutions are usually so simple, isn't it? Boy, my wife's gonna go nuts when she sees this, but I'm getting way ahead of myself. So remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna take this baby for a spin. Isn't it a pain when you're driving by yourself? You have to reach out the other window for something? Well, what about this? What if you could be the driver and the passenger at the same time? Would that be great or what? So today on Handyman Corner, I'm going to show you how you can add dual controls to your car so you can drive from the right-hand side. That way you can be the passenger in your own car. Because the passenger never has to order the lunch or work the ATM machine or blow into the breathalyzer. Okay, I got my second steering wheel in place here. Actually, I got this free from Moose Thompson. It had ripped out of his car when he slammed on the brakes. Because he gave it, you know. Now I just need some way of connecting that one to the real steering wheel. I'm thinking about using one of the inner tubes out of this bicycle. You know, this here is called a kickstand. Pretty well. The nap helped. Now I've got dual controls and stylish wheel covers, huh? Just need some way to hook up the pedals. Oh. there are kids watching, you might want to get them out of the room. Okay, now the hockey sticks are perfect for this because the blade is strong and it's shaped like a pedal, eh? So now all I gotta do is attach these to the floor of my vehicle, and my real feet on the fake pedal is gonna activate the fake feet on the real pedal. Eh? Now, if your vehicle has the floor completely rotted out of her, you're gonna have to abandon this project altogether. Instead, you can build a glass bottom boat. Okay, now to hook up the gear shift and the turn signals and what have you. And I ran a few bunchy cords up over the rear view mirror, down through the seat belt clips, that kind of deal there. No real set rule on that because every car is different, of course. So you pretty much have to use your own brain power. You may want to allow a fair bit of extra time there. Okay, other than that, we're pretty well set here. But remember, if women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Now things like getting the mail or parallel parking are a breeze. And the dual controls make this vehicle an excellent driver training tool, as long as you don't forget who's teaching who. There's been a lot of great inventions over the last 100 years. Splitting of the atom, polio vaccine, but the greatest one has to be the drive-thru restaurant, eh? Man, if I could have told my great-grandfather that the day would come where they could stuff a hot meal into a paper bag and toss it through your car window, he'd just shake his head. But I'm thinking it's maybe time to take her to the next level, eh? Instead of a drive-thru restaurant where you have to go to where the food is, which can be humiliating if you're, say, on foot or worse still, riding a bicycle, I suggest a drive-to restaurant where the food actually drives to where you are. And I'm not just talking about plain old delivery where all you get is soggy fries and lukewarm attitude. I mean an actual kitchen on wheels. It's $1 million idea that you can make out of a $40 car. Now, since we're talking takeout, we gotta start by taking out a few things, like these seats. Now, if you end up using a luxury vehicle with the heated cushions, you might think about keeping them. Make great bun warmers. Okay, now that the seats are gone, the only other thing I have to lose is the roof. If you don't count my credibility, and I'm sure you don't. Okay, I just gotta get this out of the wind here. Okay. Not quite sure what happened there. I must have blacked out. Oh, the roof is missing. Oh, there it is. Okay, now the next step is to install our grill here. It only makes sense to be cooking our burgers on a barbecue, but we're gonna actually tie it into the fuel line of the car. I'm not gonna need this propane tank. It looked empty. Okay, the barbecue's gonna take care of the burgers and hot dogs, but for the French fries, I need something that'll hold a lot more grease. And I don't mean Harold's comb. How about the tank from an old oil furnace, huh? And the beauty of these babies is the longer she's been there, the easier it is to detach. Okay, now, for your French fries, you really want to have those pre-cut before you hit the road. You could slice them by hand, but for a job this big, I prefer something a little faster. Like, say, a wood chipper. Now we're cooking, huh? I cycled the engine oil through the fryer, so the same oil that keeps the engine cool keeps the fryer hot. I'll tell you something. If you want those golden fries everybody loves, 10W30. We've even got these fryer baskets, which you can get from any grocery store. Attention shoppers, your fries are ready. Meanwhile, up front, our burgers are piping hot and perfectly broiled, all ready for our prep station. And while you're at it, why not fill the car radiator with hot coffee and then hook it up to a tap mounted right here on the dashboard, huh? Oh, yeah. Okay, I think I may have just answered my own question there. So remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got a hungry town to feed. Okay, you're probably wondering how something like this could happen. Was I driving too fast? Did the brakes fail? Maybe I forgot I had a freezer on the roof. Is that my fault? I don't think so. I mean, it took 4 guys at Dalton Store to put the freezer up there. There's no way I could take it off by myself. And if the cars these days had a decent-sized trunk, I wouldn't need to put the freezer on the roof in the first place. Oh, no, I'm telling you, this was an accident. But instead of whining or pointing fingers, today on Handyman Corner, I'm going to show you how, with a little work and imagination, you can actually make something out of an accident. That's what my parents did with me. Okay, now I took the garage door tracks and I mounted them freezer width on the roof and then down over the trunk of the car. Now I'm just securing the garage door opener itself to the hood. And don't be afraid to use the long screws on this baby. I mean, you really want to get her attached securely there. Might be a good idea to even open the hood and check that you've got a real good grip there. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now all I gotta do is put my freezer into place. I don't need this as a garage door opener anymore, since I no longer have a garage door. Now it's my automatic roof rack hoist. If you'll notice, I took the roller hardware off my garage doors and attached it to the 4 corners of my roof rack box, formerly known as my freezer. Likewise, the garage door handle becomes the cleat for my hoisting mechanism. So all I have to do is get my rollers on track and then give the handle the hook. Okay, let's give her a test run and don't wimp out, you know. Freezers can handle a lot of weight, plus they keep everything fresh. Best before May 12th. Of course, now the beauty here is to get my roof rack up onto the roof. Well, I don't have to lift a finger. I just grab my garage door opener and let nature take its course. See, this was no accident. This was a project. So remember, if women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Okay, next week we're going to show you how to make great jigsaw puzzles for your kids. As we men get older, people start to pester us to exercise more. Most of us think we're already getting enough exercise with the equipment we've used for years, a fork and a remote control. Personally, I don't want buns of steel. Steel rusts. And who wants fridge magnets all over their butt? Now, common sense tells me you're not going to walk anywhere you can drive, so the car becomes the perfect place to exercise. So this week on Handyman Corner, we're going to show you how you can turn your car into a total workout gym. All right, first off, let's start with the grip. Because, you know, a firm handshake will fool people into thinking you're in shape. Now, when I drive, a lot of the time I have at least one hand on the wheel. So let's just attach the grip to the wheel using the handyman's secret weapon, duct tape. So all you have to do is drive along there, squeezing on your exercise grips. and the horn honks. Okay, no, that's good. That's good, because this way you'll be able to exercise your biceps and your triceps, waving at strangers you've startled. Now, you see those exercise machines advertised on TV with the bungees and the pulleys, because they're real interested in getting a smooth transaction with a valid credit card. Well, that's out of our league, so we're just going to attach all this stuff around the driver's seat using the handyman's, well, you know. All right, now you hook your bungees under the driver's seat and take them up through the pulley like that. See, it's kind of like wearing suspenders. Rule of thumb, if your butt's up where your armpits should be, you got too much tension on her. All right, now these shovel handles will make it easier to grip the end of the bungee and probably keep you from losing an eye. Plus, when you're discussing your exercise program, a shovel can come in handy. Well, you should be watching. All right, now we need to exercise the largest and most often used muscle of the body, this muscle right here. So we're going to build a sit-up station into our total workout car by carefully removing the back support of the seat. All right, all right. All right, I loosened off the seat back now, so now I can do full sit-ups while I'm doing my arm exercises. All right. Let's give her a test run. That worked about perfect, didn't it? Hey, but you might want to just kind of work up to that slowly, small steps over 50, 60 years. But you know, I think we need to get our lower body feeling just as good as our upper body's feeling there, and so we're going to modify the vehicle a little bit to give our legs a bit of a workout. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the transmission fluid here. I'm going to pour it all over the brake shoes and brake drums, and that way when I want to put on the brakes, I really got a horser on there, you know. You have to use both feet. That'll be great for the quads there, and the pecs, and the traps, and the glutes, and especially the insurance policy. All right, and that's got her, so now I can exercise while I'm driving. Like, say, down to the ice cream store. And I can even get that super-duper scooper cone without feeling the least bit guilty. So remember, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's time for my workout.